Hello, it's Martin. I'm at Fully Charged Live, now rebranded to Everything Electric South. There are quite a few cars here. I took a look around, but there's one specifically which I wanted to see, which is the Volvo EX30. Obviously they've been out for a while now, but I wanted to test drive one to really see what it's like, because I think it's a very good blend of kind of traditional car design with a dedicated BEV architecture, rear-wheel drive almost a little bit like an i3 2.0, with the technology like in a Tesla with a big screen and lots of touch controls. So let's see what it all works like in practice. First time driving it. The one-pedal driving is very nice actually. Lane keeping aid on. I want to see whether this is as unreliable as people say. It feels very Tesla-esque, the pedal tuning. It is a little bit jerky at lower speeds, but it's fine. Very light steering. Can I go into here and do you have like different steering modes, settings, driving. Nicely refined over the cobblestones. One-pedal driving on. Steering feel. Okay, so now it's unhappy that I am not watching the road and then I'm looking at the screen, but that's fine. Well, this is really nice. You can tell that it's rear-wheel drive. I want to see what it's like in the back, because that's the other common criticism, but over these potholes and bumps, it's very refined. To a certain extent, it actually feels like an i3 2.0. It's quite compact on the outside, super responsive, nice in the city, but much more refined and obviously more range and faster charging. It does feel like a premium car. It's right up there with kind of BMWs and so on, and considering that this is meant to be a reasonably priced car, I think it will do quite well. I am attentive, don't you worry. It grips quite well. Teslas are meant to be fast cars, so why are we doing 30 and a 60? So even with one pedal driving now, I'm touching the brake slightly, but the brake pedal, obviously it's by wire, but it seems to be quite well tuned. It's a very interesting blend of kind of comfort and softness, and you can feel the weight kind of shifting around a little bit when you take it around the corners. But at the same time, it doesn't feel kind of dangerous, and you can definitely carry some speed through. So these buttons are kind of touch sensitive, so when you touch it, it kind of shows you what it's doing on the screen here. And yeah, when you do a short press, it adjusts in 5 mph increments like in a Polestar 2. This is actually the kind of slight pre-facelift. I believe people complained that these buttons, they are not very easy to kind of sense what you are pressing because it's like a flat surface. So newer EX30s will get steering wheels with kind of more recessed buttons, just like we get on the Polestar 3. So it will be easier to kind of feel them. But importantly, even though they have the kind of touch sensitivity and they show you what's happening on the screen, if I just brush my hands against them, it doesn't react. It only reacts once you actually kind of physically deep kind of press the button, if that makes sense. Efficiency. Well, you go into the car and then you go into car status. Everything is okay. Trip info. This is a bit too many clicks for my liking. Current trip. I have no idea when this was reset. 33.4 kilowatt hours per 100 miles. So let's see. It's about what? 3 miles per kilowatt hour, something like that. So for a small car, we would expect a little bit better. But it's a demo car, so I'm sure it's being kind of pushed quite a bit. It feels so light and nimble for a car of this size. And I say this size, it's a compact car, but it has quite a sizable battery. And even though visually it looks a little bit kind of higher up like an SUV, it still drives like a normal hatchback. Like, in fact, I would say this is a bit more fun than my ID3, which is very capable but dull. And this really kind of is one step higher than that. And the refinement is really good. I really like the refinement, both in terms of suspension comfort over these bumps. They're nicely ironed out, and the noise insulation. Obviously, we haven't done kind of motorway speeds, but up to 60 miles per hour, it's very nice refined. There's very little aero noise, a little bit of tire noise, but that's quite common for most of these electric cars because there's nothing to mask that, and I think that's one of the areas where you can save a little bit of money on sound deadening coming from the floor. But yeah,
the radio on, that would be fine.
Yeah, it definitely would be fine with the music on. What else? The screen is a bit small, is my take on this. I wish, like, if it was just a tiny bit wider and bigger, you wouldn't need to go through like so many menus, and you wouldn't need to kind of get distracted by it while driving. We've got nobody behind us. Let me try one more kind of acceleration punch. So we are at 25, and I floor it now. Yeah, not quite as much delay as kind of for an automatic car to downshift, but there definitely is kind of a half a second of delay. It's not the same as something like, for example, Teslas, which have kind of these ultra responsive accelerator pedals. This is a bit kind of more smoothened out, but on the other hand, if you're kind of just cruising along like this, even with the regen on, if you kind of ease off a little bit, the transition to the braking is smooth. So if you like to kind of rest your foot, you will not make your passengers dizzy. Blind spot monitoring on this version. The mirrors are identical to the Polestar 2, so you've got the nice frameless design. In fact, now that I adjusted my seat, I need to adjust the mirrors slightly. You do have to do this in the screen, but if you live with the car, you will do it once, you will save it in your user profile and not worry about it ever again. And at least the screen from this kind of experience, the kind of 10 minutes, it seems nice and responsive. And obviously it runs the Google Android Automotive operating system, and it seems very nice. And having Google Maps for navigation is probably the best thing you can do. So now I had to touch the brake pedal. The regen is not as aggressive as something like a Model 3, your BMW i3, cars like that. But obviously, being one pedal driving, you can let go of the brake, and it will stay put. The rear space is a bit concerning, but we will see how that looks when I get a chance to sit in one on the show floor. And what I kind of keep thinking about is the price point of this. So you can get X demos for kind of easily low 30s, even for kind of high-spec examples. If you need a small city car, regardless of electric or not, and you want something which is a little bit more premium than just your kind of cheapy runabout, why would you get anything else? I will set the seat to my driving position. This one is a lower spec one, so it has manual seats. But yeah, this is how I sat in the previous one as well. Super comfortable. I actually prefer this interior trim. You've got this kind of matte textured material on the door cards and on the dash here. You still have the ambient lighting on the dash, which you can change the color of, and I believe it's tuned to kind of different themes rather than just colors. That's nice, but let's not get distracted. Yeah, this is my comfortable position. I want to see how much space I have in the back behind myself. This will be tight. So I had the front seat in my kind of comfortable driving position. I'm sure if I had kind of tall people in the back, I would be able to go forward a little bit. But this is a problem. This is a problem. I'm literally pushing into the seat. It's quite kind of soft and padded and thick, so it's doable, but my knees are very high up. My thighs are not supported at all. There's a little storage compartment here, how thoughtful, and quite big door bins. The window switches, by the way, to kind of simplify the design, there's very few electrics on the side here, so the window switches are in the central console, even in the back. The headroom is good, so it's obviously quite a boxy vehicle, so the headroom is fine. Backrest, everything comfortable, but yeah, not enough knee room. So even something like, for example, I think the Smart #1, which is built on the same platform, if you need to carry people in the back regularly, is probably going to be a slightly better choice. Let's see whether the limited space on the rear bench gave us any space in the boot. Okay, for the size of the car, this is actually not bad. Quite deep, you've got split folding seats, obviously. And despite being a rear-wheel drive vehicle, you do have quite a bit of storage space in here, and you've got enough of a cutout for kind of your tire repair kit and so on. Not bad, and obviously you can take the partial shelf out if you need to, and you can carry bigger items. And yeah, electric tailgate even on this Plus version. The one which we drove was an Ultra. So this is probably going to be the pick of the range for most people, being kind of right in the middle. You've got the essentials on board, like your heated seats, automatic air conditioning, reversing camera. You still have some of the nicer gadgets, like the Harman Kardon soundbar. We did try listening to the sound system at the end of the test drive. I don't have any clip of that, not to get a copyright strike, but it wasn't ideal. but at least it's better than having a standard system. Adaptive cruise control, I believe, is standard on them, so maybe the Plus package is the one to go for, and you've got slightly smaller wheels. This is riding on, let's see, 19s, so you've got a bit more of a sidewall on the tires. So even the Ultra on the 20s, which do look nicer, was quite comfortable, but this would be a little bit better still, and you would probably get better energy consumption. So if you're after more range, single motor, big battery, Plus is the one to go for. Just a quick conclusion to the video. Really good driving experience, very good power tuning, like the car, nice interior. The only drawback for me personally would be that the interior space in the second row is a little bit tight, and for a Scandinavian car it's a little bit odd that it doesn't have matrix lights. That's one thing which I love in my ID3, and in fact I will have a video live on that on the channel, so make sure to click in the top right hand corner of the video if you want to check that out. But yeah, other than that, very good value for money, especially if you manage to get your hands on an X demo or a pre-reg example. So I would definitely consider one, and in fact I will try to get my hands on one very shortly. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.